It's a lot. So instead we do the bare minimum and see what we get. Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. So today we're going to be doing something that I haven't done in a little while. If you've been around, I started a sort of little YouTube series last year. Oh my god, has it really been that long? Last year about dyeing stuff. So I've dabbled into dyeing fabric a few times before, specifically for costumes when I had to match a particular colour or something, but that was always chemical dyeing, so like modern chemical red dye kind of thing. But I really like the idea of natural dyeing, and so last year I kind of got into that. And the whole purpose of this series, which is called Will It Dye, is to pick up random stuff and see if it dyes fabric. So obviously there are plenty of plants and flowers and things that were traditionally used for dyeing, but sometimes your access to that isn't, you know, plentiful. So for example, I don't have my own garden, so I can't grow any of my own ingredients, and it's not like you can walk outside and just find, you know, woad outside or whatever. So I thought I would use whatever I can find around me. So episode 1, I'll link all these videos up and down below, was about Mexican mint, which was a plant I just had in my house that I had no use for but grew a lot. And that gave a really nice pale yellow. Or maybe I shouldn't say, so it's like suspense. Okay, and then episode 2 was walnuts. No, not walnuts, pine nuts. Because I went on a walk in my local woods and there were lots on the floor, so I just picked them up. And I won't tell you what that came out as, so it's a surprise. And today we're going to try again. It's been quite hard because obviously I did move from London to Scotland, and I don't really know the area as well to find things that I could try dyeing with. But I did notice that in my little local garden, these nice beautiful trees with loads of berries. And so I thought, maybe it's time I finally try the berries. And so I asked a friend and she identified it as a rowan tree, which I think is very traditionally Scottish and very abundant in Scotland. I started noticing them after that. And so I went and got some berries. I'll insert some footage here because it was actually quite hilarious because I'm very short and I don't have any of the tools to reach tall trees. So that's a laugh. But I got some berries and now I'm going to try to dye with them. The other note I wanted to make is just that this is my main instruction manual. It's called the Modern Natural Dyer by Christine Vijar. I'm sorry. I've so far really enjoyed this book. I haven't actually used any of their own recipes, but it gives you a really easy to understand overview of how to start with natural dyeing if you want, and the kind of processes that you need to do. Now, a disclaimer, this is a very chaotic kind of experiment. So the only steps I'm really doing is the rinsing or sort of initial wash, then mordanting, which is the step you do so that the fabric will adhere to the color. And I explain a bit more about that in the other videos, so please do check those out if you want this definition of mordanting. And then the actual dye bath and the final rinse. There are a couple of extra baths that she talks about in here, but it's a long process if you do all of those, and I only have one pot and it's a lot. So instead we do the bare minimum and see what we get. So now that we've gone over that housekeeping stuff, I'm gonna sort out some berries and dye some fabric. So here is my more tinted linen. I've just got it out of the pot. It's, I think, about 2 p.m. So that means it's been in there for nearly 16 hours, I want to say. I was meant to do this earlier, but there was a wasp in the kitchen, so I ran away, but here we are. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse it a bit more, put it aside, and then I'm going to start boiling down the berries. So I wanted to show you, I've got my little notebook with like my measurements of stuff. So my fabric weighs approximately 500 grams. And it's quite important if you want to recreate colors or whatever to keep a track of your measurements so you can do it again. So I need to weigh my berries now because basically you will have seen in the beginning of the video that I just grabbed whatever berries I could. They were quite high up, so here we are. So I've just got a scale set up. Now we are going to weigh them. Okay, we have 528 grams of berries, which is perfect because I think you need quite a lot of berries to get colour out of them. Great. So, sorry this is an odd angle. You haven't seen this kitchen yet because I think the last video about dyeing was back in London and we are now in Glasgow. So, got my berries and now I'm going to put them in the pot and I'm going to slowly bring it to the boil over half an hour and then I'm going to let it simmer for another hour. Hopefully that'll be enough. We'll see what the water looks like after. So I think I've just shown you guys what it looks like. I'm quite surprised because obviously I hadn't ever opened one of the berries before. Turns out they're orange inside. So obviously they're red outside. So I thought actually this was going to be like a pink reddish tone kind of thing. But they're quite orange and the water is a bit orange. So I'm curious to see what we're going to get. However, I do think that there's not a lot that's come out of them. So I'm a little concerned about that. The 1 hour and a half has been up. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try to crush them a little bit. I've got one of those like potato masher things. I'm going to try to crush them a little bit and then leave them on for like another hour because I've got the time to spare at the moment. So yeah, I'll show you if that helps. Okay, so another hour has passed. I think this is all I'm going to get from the berries. So now I just need to strain them out because we don't want little bits of stuff in the fabric. So here are our berries and our dye water. So I'm gonna put this back in the pot and then put the fabric in. So here we are. As you can see, it's quite orange. I'm very surprised. I'm really surprised. I didn't think orange was very much a natural colour because, you know, yellow is quite common from a lot of different flowers and leaves and stuff. But I hadn't really thought about orange as like its own colour, more of like a happening from a red or a yellow gone wrong. So this is quite interesting. So I've got my linen in here. I'm going to boil it for an hour and then we'll see what we're at. As you can see, it's a very pastel orange. It's not like a terracotta orange. So we'll see if anything happens in an hour. I might boil it a bit more later. I will have to leave the house in an hour and I don't want to leave the stove on. So yeah. So yesterday I left the fabric boiling for about an hour and a bit and then I just let it cool down in the dye. I've done that a few times and I feel like that really helps with natural dyes. So I thought I'd do the reveal with you. So, bam. Ooh. Yeah, so you can see that the water is like this really beautiful orange colour and then the fabric is like a pale peach. So obviously I think I would need a much stronger concentration of the berries to get a stronger color, but this is a really nice pastel. I'm just hoping that the next step is to rinse it, and I'm hoping that it won't all wash out. So let's get to rinsing. So the fabric has dyed and dried. I think that's what I was trying to say. I'm not sure if this light will really catch it, so I'll link close-up, better like close-ups soon. But basically the tone it's a really beautiful pale peachy pink. It's so nice. I'm really impressed. I think obviously for a stronger color I needed a much higher concentration of berries. I sort of just took what I could reach, even though the trees were very, very full. And I noticed as well that the birds and the sort of squirrels don't seem to want those berries. And I don't think they're edible. So really, I think I could have easily taken some more without, you know, affecting the local ecosystem. But yeah, I think it's a really lovely color. I think it's really beautiful. I'm not sure how it will fade. Obviously, natural dyeing can fade a bit easier than chemical dyeing. And then the other thing is that it is a bit patchy in some places, but basically that's because I only have this one pot and it was quite a lot. This fabric is a little thicker and it was too much fabric for that size of pot for me to tan it properly during the actual dyeing process. But you know what, I think it's still really charming. It has a sort of pastel fairy tale-y vibe to it, and I think it's really lovely. I already have a purpose for this piece of fabric, so we will be seeing it in another video very soon. And yeah, thank you so much for coming along this adventure. If you liked it, please like, comment. Actually, do let me know, because I feel like these videos don't go down very well, even though I have a lot of fun experimenting with random stuff. So do let me know if you like them, so I'll keep making them. I think the next thing I want to do is try some seaweed. Is that weird? There's like quite a lot of Scottish beaches and stuff that have those large sort of washed up bits of seaweed that aren't used for anything, so I think I might give that a go. I'm guessing a brown sort of colour, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be surprised again. This was really lovely. As I think I mentioned in the beginning, I was expecting a red colour because the outside of the berries are red, but the inside is orange, and I didn't know that until I actually put them in the pot because they all turned orange. I feel like I already said goodbye. Well, goodbye, and I will see you next week.